There are like a million videos out there of people claiming to know the key to learning a new language. And welcome to my version. In this video, I'm going to present to you the methods that I have used to learn both Spanish and Portuguese. But why am I qualified to give you these tips? Why should you listen to me? All I know is that I have implemented these tips into my learning routine, and now I can confidently say that I'm trilingual. I even give English and Spanish lessons to students from all over the world. So here are my top 5 language learning tips. Firstly, it is important to expose yourself as much as possible to content in your new language of choice. For example, start watching a new series on Netflix. By only watching a few episodes a day, you can learn a ton of new vocabulary and phrases that are commonly used in that language. Similarly, you can check out different podcasts and read books about topics that interest you, so you can learn specific vocabulary from those fields of interest. It is also a good idea to follow YouTube channels who create content in the language that you are learning. But make sure you are concentrating on the spoken language while consuming this media. You won't absorb nearly as much of the language if you're not actively listening. That means that you shouldn't be scrolling through Instagram while watching your show. This brings me to my next point. It is important to write down everything. Write down new phrases that you come across and new words that you would like to implement into your vocabulary. This is my little notebook that I take notes in while I'm reading or watching shows in Portuguese. Whenever I hear a new word that I don't quite understand, I write it down in this little notebook and I do a Google search about it, or I wait to ask one of my Brazilian friends about its meaning. It is actually proven that writing by hand can improve our ability to remember things. So be intentional and grab that pen and paper and start your little notebook of new words. Trust me, it works. My next one is a fun one. I urge you to familiarize yourself with the culture of your language of choice. Learning a language is not just about learning how to form words in a sentence. It's about learning to observe the world through a new perspective. To do this, you can learn about the history of the countries where your language is spoken. Historical facts and events heavily influence the words and structure that make up every language. Similarly, you can read literature in that language, listen to different cultural podcasts, and even watching movies produced in that language will give you a little idea of how the people from that culture perceive the world. My favorite aspect of learning about cultures is listening to music. It's something so fun and simple that you can do while dancing, cooking, showering, and of course, you should just do it to admire the new sounds and lyrics. I suggest that you listen passively as often as you can, but listen actively to a few songs a day. That means that you should look up the lyrics and actually try to understand the message of the song. But of course, none of these methods will ever teach you as much about the culture or language as speaking with native speakers. And this brings me to my next point. It is imperative for you to talk to people who speak your language of choice. They say practice makes perfect, and when it comes to learning a new language, this is very, very true. I have tons of students who tell me that they have been studying English for many years and that they cannot seem to improve their skills. And when I ask them, well, how do you study? They always tell me that they study by reading grammar books and by practicing listening comprehension, which means that they can generally understand the language, but that they cannot reproduce or form sentences in the language. Maybe you identify with this? Well, the problem is we need to practice speaking as much as we possibly can. You can go online and take classes with native speakers on platforms like italki, or you can use social media to find language buddies who also want to practice their language of choice. For example, you can search for language exchange groups on Facebook. It's as simple as a 30-minute phone call a few days a week to really improve your language skills. And my final tip is to just speak, even if you're embarrassed or feel ashamed of your level. Don't let that fear hold you back. If you are taking classes, you need to get over the fear of speaking, especially within that environment, because that learning environment is made for you to practice your skills. So take advantage of that opportunity to practice with your classmates and with your teachers. And if you're learning on your own, you should put yourself in new situations that will allow you to practice with people who speak your language of choice. Cut yourself some slack and allow yourself to make mistakes. After all, you're learning a very complex skill. Experiment Expressing yourself in a different language isn't easy, so don't allow the fear of saying something stupid or making a mistake to hold you back. It's the only way to really improve your language skills. I don't believe that there is any particular key to learning a new language. It's all about consistency and the genuine effort that you put into learning on a regular basis. Learning a new language is hard, and sometimes it can seem impossible. So be kind to yourself and don't give up. If somebody else can do it, why can't you? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel, because there will be more where this came from.